Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is on July 29th, 2023. It's on Saturday and sunny outside. How are you spending Saturday? Did you go to swimming in the beach this summer? Did you go swimming this summer? Did you already go swimming this summer, or do you hate swimming? Which do you prefer, swimming in the sea or climbing the mountain? You don't like either of them? You like neither of them? Or you like both of them? Every now and then, I feel lonely. Every now and then, I feel like eating the same set of menu after finishing it. Every now and then, I feel like eating another set of the menu after completing it, after finishing it. Every now and then, sometimes, from time to time, occasionally, on occasion. Every now and then, from time to time, sometimes, occasionally, on occasion. Every now and then, every now and then, every now and then, every now and then. Every now and then. Every now and then, every now and then, every now and then. Every now and then, the executives of the company visit our branch office. Every now and then, I stop by my cousin's house. Every now and then, I drop in on my cousin. Every now and then, I drop in at my cousin's house. Every now and then, I drop by my cousin's house. Sooner or later, more and more jobs will be replaced by AI, robots, machines. Already, many of our jobs are done by machines. And we are operating the machines. Many things are produced by machines. And the staffs are operating the machines. Sooner or later, the injury on your skin will be cured. It's not so serious enough to need the operation. It will be healed with time, over time. Sooner or later, the company will embark on the new business. Sooner or later, the house will be completed within this year. Sooner or later, the house will be completed within this year. I saw some dogs running in the park. I saw some loose dogs running in the park. I saw some loose dogs running in the park. I saw some loose dogs running in the park. Now that I have been loose from the hospital, I can do what I like to do with some limitation. Now that I have been loose from the hospital, I can stay in my room. I can live in my house. loose, loose dogs, loose pets. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets running in the park. I saw some loose pets, pet dogs, loose dogs, released from the leash in the park. Loose, loose. Now that we have been loose from the baggage, we can walk easily now. It was so tough to sightsee with the suitcases, baggage. You know? Loose. Now that we've been loose from the luggage, we are easy to walk around. This is the best condition to sightsee, you know? This is the best condition to sightsee, isn't it? Loose, loose. The staff of the roller coaster is making sure that there are no loose screws, security bars, and so on before the start. Loose, 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 loose. Now that I have been loose from the hospital, I don't have to care the volume of the TV. Now that I have been loose from the school, I can play video games. Now that I have been loose from the school, I can play video games to my heart's content. Loose, loose. As soon as the students were loose from the school, they rushed to their home to eat fruits, drink juice, and so on. As soon as the school has been over, the students will go home quickly. As soon as some of the students were loose from the school, they rushed to the department store to buy very rare Pokemon cards. The instance the students were loose from the school, they rushed to the department store to eat steak. The moment the students were released loose from the school, they rushed to the ground to practice tennis. On the school having finished, the students rushed to the ground to practice tennis. Loose, 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 loose. Loose. Loose pet dogs. Loose pet dogs. I will be loose at 5 o'clock p.m. After that, can we meet at the regular cafe we often go to for the conversation in the station? I will be loose from the examination at 5 o'clock p.m. So let's meet. Shall we meet at the usual cafe in the station? Why not meet at the usual cafe we always go to in the station? I will be loose from the examination at 5 o'clock p.m. Loose, loose, loose. Loose dogs. The food fighter loosened his belt to feel more comfortable during the food battle. Tens of thousands of sheep were loosed from the cage, from the compartment. And numerous calves were loosed into the river. Hundreds of calves were loosed into the pond. Hundreds of calves were released into the pond. Hundreds of calves were loosed into the river. Hundreds of calves were released into the pond. Hundreds of calves were loosed into the river, into the ponds of the rich house. Hundreds of calves were loosed into the pond in the rich house. Hundreds of calves were loosed into the pond of the Ryote, fancy Japanese restaurant. Loose. Loose, 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 loose. Let me loose from the society. Let me loose from the society. Let me loose. Loose me from the society. I feel like being loosed from the society. Every now and then I feel like being loosed from the society and confine myself into my room. Single room in a hotel. Every now and then I feel like being isolated from the society and being alone in a single room of a hotel. Every now and then I feel like being loosed from the society and stay calm in a silent room. Every now and then I feel like being loosed from the society and stay calm, silent in a single room of a hotel. Loose. Loose. I asked when I would be released from the hospital to the doctor. He said, a month. In a month. In a month. I asked my doctor when I would be able to be released from the hospital. I asked my doctor when I would be released from the hospital. She answered, a month at least. I asked my doctor when I would be able to be released from the hospital. I asked my doctor when I would be able to be released from the hospital. I asked my doctor when I would be released from the hospital. I asked my doctor when I would be released from the hospital. Loose pet dogs. I saw some loose pet dogs running over there, running in the park. I saw some loose pet dogs running over there in the park. Loose. Loose might be the key to coming up with a good idea. Loose might be only the way to come up with crazy, awesome idea enough to be able to get Nobel Prize. Loose, loose, release, loose. Loose will be the key to coming up with awesome idea. When we are relaxed, such awesome idea will emerge in our brain. But we are in a panic, busy, maybe such a good idea will not come up. Such a good idea sometimes occurs to me while I am taking a shower. A good idea sometimes occur to me while I'm taking a shower. A good idea sometimes occurs to me. A good idea sometimes occasionally from time to time, every now and then occurs to me. It occurred to me that I had been deceived by the fraudulent company. It occurred to me that I had been deceived by his eloquent persuasion. And since the needle, the thread, string, was tightened loosely, it came off. Since the seal was attached loosely, it came off. Because the seal was attached to the baggage loosely, it came off soon. Since the seal was attached to the baggage loosely, it came off. Since the seal was attached to the baggage loosely, it came off. Because the seal was attached to the luggage loosely, it came off. Loosely, 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 loosely. Since the string was bound loosely, it came off. Loosely. Loosely. Nursery. Nursery, nursery, nursery. Why are you this kind of student who read the textbooks before the class had started? Why are you this kind of person who had read the textbook beforehand before the class started? Why are you this kind of person, student, who had read the textbooks loosely before the class started? Why are you this kind of person, student? Why are you this kind of student who had read the textbooks loosely before the class started? Since the string was bound around the stone loosely, it came off. Since the belt was fastened loosely, it came off. My body was not stopped in the sudden brake of the car, in the sudden stop of the car. Since the security bar was secured loosely, my body was almost flying. Since the security bar was secured loosely, my body was almost flying. Excuse me, do you mind if I loosen the temperature of the air conditioner? Excuse me, would you mind if I loosen the temperature of the air conditioner? Because I'm feeling so cold. Excuse me, would you mind me loosening the temperature of the air conditioner? Excuse me, would you mind me loosening the air conditioner? Excuse me, do you mind me loosening the heater? Because I'm feeling so hot. I'm sweating. Excuse me, do you mind me loosening the air conditioner? Do you mind if I lose the air conditioner? Do you mind if I lose the conditioner? Excuse me, do you mind if I loosen the air conditioner? Do you mind if I loosen the air conditioner? Would you mind if I loosen the air conditioner? Would you mind submitting the report instead of me? Would you mind loosening the temperature of the air conditioner? Would you mind loosening the air conditioner? Would you mind loosening the volume of the TV? Loosen. 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 Border measures were gradually loosened. Loosen, 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 loosen. loosen. The food fighter loosened his belt to feel more comfortable. The food fighter loosened his belt. You can see the food fighter loosening his belt at some point in the food battle. You can see the food battle loosening his belt at some point during the eating. Loosen. And with time, the needle will loosen. With time, the needles will loosen. With time, the screws will loosen. So we have to tighten them regularly. The screws will loosen with time. So we have to tighten them again with time regularly to make sure for our safety. Loosen, 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 loosen. Loosen, 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 loosen. Screws in the wood will loosen with time, so we have to tighten them regularly. Screws in the wood will loosen, so we have to tighten them regularly. The screws in the wood will loosen. The screws in the wood will loosen, so we have to tighten them regularly. Loosen, 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 loosen. The screws in the wood were loosened due to the earthquake. My trousers were tightened due to many washings, many times of washing, a series of washings. My trousers were shrunk. My trousers shrunk for a series of washings. My trousers shrunk because of a series of washing. The string once bound tightly loosened. The string once bound tightly around the wood loosened. To my sadness, the lowest fare of the train exceeded 200 yen. Unfortunately, and to my surprise, the lowest fare of the train exceeded 200 yen. When I looked at the map of the train, I couldn't find the price under 200 yen, which was such a shock for me. The lowest train fare was 170 yen when I was living there, but now 200 yen is the lowest one. Did you also go forgo bonuses after Lehman shock? Did you also forgo bonuses after Lehman shock? Did you also fare without bonuses after Lehman shock? I could fare within 10,000 yen regarding my monthly food. I could fare with 10,000 yen with respect to my monthly food. Fair. Are you confident faring in a foreign country? Are you confident of faring in a foreign country? Are you confident that you can fare in a foreign country where you can speak the local language at all? Are you confident that you can live, fare in a foreign country where you cannot speak the local language? Are you confident that you can fare without the ability to speak the local language? Fare. Are you confident that you can fare in a foreign country where you cannot speak the language? Fare. 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 Are you confident that you can fare in a foreign country where you cannot speak the language? Are you confident that you can fare in a country where you cannot speak the local language? Very challenging will be. It will be such a very challenge, but it will putting you in difficult zones will make you grow much. Fare. Fare. I was obliged to fare within 10,000 yen with respect to my monthly food. I was obliged to fare with little payment. I was obliged to live with little payment. I was obliged to forgo bonuses. I was compelled to forgo bonuses. I was forced to forgo bonuses. I was obliged to fare. I was compelled to fare. How can you make ends meet with such little payment, although you buy many luxury goods? How can you make ends meet How can you make ends meet with 200,000 yen salary? Because you are buying many luxury goods. I was compared to fair. I was compared to fair. I was compared to fair with a little payment. I was compared to fair with 10,000 yen regarding my monthly food. Can you fare with 10,000 yen for your monthly food? Regarding your monthly food, can you fare with 10,000 yen? With regard to your monthly food, can you fare with 10,000 yen? Fair, 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 fair. 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 I am not confident that I can fare with little pension. I am not confident that I can fare with little pension. I am not confident that I can fare with little pensions. Fair. Are you confident that you can fare in a foreign country where you cannot speak the language? Are you certain that you can fare with 10,000 yen for your monthly food? In relation to your monthly food, can you fare with 10,000 yen? With regard to your monthly food, can you fare with 10,000 yen? Fair, fair, fair. To my surprise, the lowest train ticket price was 200 yen. When I used to live there, the lowest price of the train ticket was 170 yen. So I was surprised. I was so shocked. Are you confident that you can fare in a department with some people you don't like? Are you sure that you can fare in the department with some people you don't like? I used to gather the fractions of glass dropped in on the street on my way to and from school, which was fun for me because the color of the fractions of the glass was beautiful, but at the same time it was dangerous because it's very sharp. I had the danger or potentiality to get injured. When I was an elementary school student, I used to gather the fractions of the glass dropped on the street because they looked so beautiful. But it was also dangerous, with the risk that I might have been injured because they were so sharp. Fraction. ¥1,000,000 in the bank account of him is rumored to be just a fraction of his asset. ¥1,000,000 in his bank account is rumored to be just a fraction of his asset. So even if the bank account is frozen, it is no damage to him. Fraction. I fell in love with her in a fraction of a second. In a fraction of a second. I fell in love with her in a fraction of a second. 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 Do you have the experience that you fell in love with something in a fraction of a second? It might be a song, someone, food, or whatever, whatsoever. Do you have the experience that you fell in love with something in a fraction of a second? Fraction. In a fraction of a second. 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 Do you have the experience that you fell in love with something? It might be food, somebody, song, in a fraction of a second. I fell in love with her in a fraction of a second. I came to like the song in a fraction of a second. I felt something evil, wicked from her as soon as I met her in a fraction of a second. ¥1,000,000 in his bank account is rumored to be just a fraction of his asset. So even the bank account is frozen for a reason, he will not get such a big damage. There are many fractions of glass on the street which will be cause of the flat tire. After the car accident, there were many rubbers and fractions of glass on the road, which were being cleared out of the road by the staff. There were many rubbers and fractions of glass on the road, which were got rid of by the staff. There were many fractions of glass after the car accident on the road, which were being removed, got rid of, cleared by the staff. In a fraction of a second. 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 Do you have the experience that you fell in love with somebody in a fraction of a second? Do you have the experience that you fell in love with somebody in a fraction of a second? Do you have the experience that you fell in love with her, fell in love with somebody in a fraction of a second, in a fraction of a second, in a fraction of a second? Fractional. Just a fractional amount of money for him. 1 million yen might be just a fractional amount of money for rich people. The numerous boxes filled with documents are just a fractional of his paper. The numerous boxes with the documents are just a fractional of the information. Fractional. Just a fractional asset of him. Just a fractional asset of him. Fractional. Fractional. Just a fractional assets of him. Just a fractional assets of him. Just a fractional assets of him. Fractional. 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 はい。Fractional, fractional, fractional, fractional. Only a fractional employees working in the company is contaminating the reputation of it. Only a fractional employees working in the company is polluting the reputation. Only a fractional employees, evil, wicked employees, are decreasing the reputation, lessening the reputation, reducing the reputation, going down the reputation, putting down the reputation. Contaminating, polluting, doing damage to the company. Fractional, fractional. Only a fractional evil employees working in the company are contaminating the reputation. Fractional, fractional, fractional. I don't like adding, subtracting, dividing, nor multiplying. If you add 5 to 5, which figure will you get? 10? If you subtract 10 from 10, which figure will you get? If you multiply 5 by 5, which figure number will you get? 25. If you divide 10 by 5, which figure will you get? 2. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. If you add 5 to 5, which number will you get? 10. If you add 10 to 10, which figure number will you get? 20. If you subtract 5 from 10, which figure will you get? Minus 5. I don't like calculating, you know. Decimal. Let alone decimal. The first is decimal point. Decimal point. Please calculate and up to the second place of the decimal. Decimal. Please calculate the equations up to the third decimal place. Decimal. Please calculate the numbers up to the third place. The third decimal place, the second decimal place, the first decimal place. Decimal point. I don't like calculating decimal figures. Decimal numbers. I don't like to calculate decimal numbers. I don't like to calculate decimal numbers. Decimal. 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 The first decimal place, the second decimal place, the third decimal place. Decimal. Please calculate the numbers up to the third decimal place. Please calculate the numbers up to the third decimal place. Please calculate the numbers up to the second decimal place. Decimal point. Please calculate the numbers up to the third decimal place. Decimal point. Decimal. Decimal, 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 decimal figures, decimal. Please calculate the numbers up to the third decimal place, the second decimal place, the first decimal place, decimal, first decimal place, third decimal place, second decimal place, decimal, 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 decimal. I was advised that I should refrain from eating lean meat. I was advised that I should refrain from eating lean meat. I was advised that I should refrain from eating lean meat. I was advised that I should refrain from eating lean meat. 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 Do you know the guy leaning against the pole? Fence. Do you know the guy leaning against the fence? Leaning against the leaning on the fence. The house is cheap because it is lean at the degree of 0.5 degrees. Lean meat. Lean meat. Lean meat. Lean meat. Lean meat. Do you like reading a novel? A historical novel? Do you like to read a historical novel? Do you like to read a historical novel? Novel. Novel. Do you like to read a novel? No. Novel. Essay. Thesis. I cannot tell the difference well. Bibliography. Biography. Novel. A novel theory. A novel theory. My ideas filled with novelty. Nobody can come up with as novel ideas as me. Nobody can come up with as novel ideas as me. Novel. 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 A novel theory, 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 novel, a novel theory, novel. Novel theory, a novel theory, a novel theory, a novel theory, novel, a novel theory, a novel theory, novel. My ideas are always novel for everybody, although I don't find them novel. Although I don't find my ideas novel, but they seem to be novel for others. Although I don't find my ideas novel, they seem to be novel for others. Although I don't find my ideas novel, Others seem to find them novel. Although I don't find my ideas novel, others seem to find my ideas novel, 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 novel ideas. Doing everything on our own and isolation from the society and everything else might be the key to come up with a novel idea. Doing everything on your own might be the key to coming up with a novel idea. Doing everything alone on your own and not belonging to a group or community or whatsoever might be the key to coming up with a novel idea. Novel, 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 novel idea, a novel theory, a novel theory, a novel theory, novel, a novel theory, a novel theory, a novel theory, a novel, a novel theory, novel, novel theory, novel theory, a novel theory. Novel, novel idea. Such a novel idea might be achieved by doing everything alone on our own, not caring others' opinions at all. The equation looks novel still for me. PlayStation 3 still looks novel for me. PlayStation 3 still looks novel for me. Novel for me. Novel. 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 Novel idea. Such a novel idea. Such a novel idea. Such a novel idea. Novel. 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 Novel sound, novel style of music, novel genre of music, novel, such a novel style of music, such a novel style of music, such a novel style of music, novel, novel. Ramen with chocolate was such a novel for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still novel for me. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was successful or not. I don't know if it was successful. I don't know whether it was successful or not. Putting chocolate into ramen is still novel for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such a novel for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such a novel for me. I don't know whether it was successful or not, but I watched the news. Watch the news. Watch the news. Watch the news. Watch the news. But I watched the news. But I watched the news. I watched the news. But I watched the news. But I watched the news. But I watched the news. What the news? But I watched news. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such novel for me. Is still such novel for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such a novel idea for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such a novel idea for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such a novel idea for me. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such novel for me. Novel, a novel theory, novel. Putting chocolate into ramen is still such 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 novel. The things with novelty now might not be novel at all in the future. Everything with novelty will be obsolete, out of the date, old-fashioned in the future maybe. Novelty. All of the things with novelty now might be obsolete, old-fashioned, out of the date in the future. Novelty. Everything with novelty now might be obsolete, old-fashioned, out of the date in the future. Novelty. 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 The things with too much novelty tend to be criticized or regarded as something in a good way. What made you wanna be a novelist? What made you wanna be a novelist? What made you wanna be a novelist? I even felt the suspense drama boring when I was a kid. I felt all of the TV programs on aired during the noon boring. Suspense. Do you like suspense drama? Do you like suspense drama? Suspense is filled with scares for me. Suspense drama scares me. Suspense drama scare me. I am bored of suspense drama on air broadcasted during the noon, especially on weekdays. Suspense. Suspense. Are you filled with suspense? We cannot perform well under the suspense condition, with suspense condition. We cannot perform well under suspense. Suspense. Suspense-filled story. Suspense-filled story. Suspense-filled story. Suspense-filled story. Suspense-filled story. Suspense. Suspense. Suspense-filled story. Suspense. 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 Suspense-filled story. Suspense. 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 I cannot perform well under suspense. I cannot concentrate on something under suspense. I cannot concentrate on something under suspense. I cannot focus on anything on suspense, under suspense. I cannot focus on anything under suspense. The student was suspended from the school for cheating on the examination. Have you seen the lantern suspending from over the torii gate? Did you see such a huge lantern hang over the gate? Hang over the gate, suspended over the gate. Did you see that such a huge lantern suspended over the gate? Would you mind helping me suspend the lantern over the gate? Lantern. Many lanterns were suspended over the eve of the temple during the festival. Lantern Festival. I was mesmerized by the numerous lanterns suspended under the eaves of the temple. I was mesmerized, astonished by the numerous lanterns suspended on the wall along the street. Would you mind helping me suspend the lanterns along the street? Would you mind helping me? Would you mind helping me suspend lanterns on the fence along the approach to the shrine? The student was suspended from the school for a week for cheating on the examination. The restaurant was suspended from the operation for 3 days. Utilities such as water, gas, electricity were suspended for not paying. The electricity is suspended due to the thunder dropped somewhere. Power outages can happen when thunder drops. Power outages. Blackout can happen, arise, allows, come about when thunder drops somewhere. The supply of the electricity can suspend due to the thunder dropping. The supply of the electricity can suspend due to the thunder dropping. On account of thunder dropping, owing to thunder dropping, the supply of electricity can suspend due to the power out, thunder dropping. Suspension from school. Have you experienced suspension? Have you ever experienced suspension from school for doing something wrong? Suspension from working, suspension from operation, suspension from operation, suspension from playing as a regular, as a doctor stop, suspension from playing in the game due to my disease. Suspension, 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 suspension of the sports meeting due to inclement weather. Suspension of the sports meeting on account of inclement weather. Suspension of the sports meeting owing to inclement weather. Suspension, 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 suspension. Colorful flowers or simple only 2 colors of flower. Which do you prefer? Colorful colors with a lot of colors, or simple only white and black colored paints? I like rainbow color, which meaning I like colorful colors. The movie is composed of colorful characters. The video game is made up of colorful characters. The movie is made up of very colorful big actors and actresses ever. Colorful skills, colorful abilities. I don't have colorful abilities, but only 1 or 2. Having colorful shadow skills might not be evaluated from now on, but only 1 or 2 deep skills with 1 or 2 deep and excellent skills might be evaluated from now on. Because such colorful shadow skills will be replaced by AIs or machines or robots. Colorful rainbow, colorful hair, colorful rainbow hair. Have you tried colorful rainbow hair? Colorful, 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 colorful. The clothes is too colorful for me to wear. It's embarrassing for me. The clothes looks beautiful, but it is too colorful for me. The clothes looks so beautiful, but too colorful for me. The clothes looks so beautiful, but it's too colorful for me to wear. The clothes looks so beautiful, but it is too colorful for me. Some people have colorful skills. I envy those with colorful skills. I envy those with colorful skills. Physical education, math, physics, philosophy, geology, geometry, and so on. Colorful. I envy those with colorful skills. I really envy those with colorful skills. The movie is composed of colorful actors. Colorful actors. The video game is composed of colorful characters, which is attracting many fans. The newly released video game is made up of very colorful characters. The most important thing for me is to do what I like to do and keep my pace. I don't want to match others. I don't want to fit into others. I don't want to fit into others. I don't even try to fit into others, match others. My style. This is my style of studying. My style of studying must be unique to others, although I find it normal. Only unique style of something will help to achieve a breakthrough, I think. I guess. I suppose. I presume. I bet. I bet the things regarded as crazy style might contribute to making a breakthrough, achieving a breakthrough, accomplishing a breakthrough. The man has no style. The man has no style. The man has no style. I don't care if I have no style or not. I don't care whether I have no style or not. Whether or not I have no style or not. I don't care. I don't care whether I have no style or not. The man has no style. The man has no style. I don't care. 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 My style of doing, my style of studying must be very unique to others, for others, but I find it normal. My style of studying must be very unique or crazy for some people, but I find it normal. Nothing special, nothing novel. Jomon era style living house. Yayoi era style living house. Japanese style sushi. Japanese style restaurant. Japanese style restaurant. Japanese style garden. Mount Fuji is really worth climbing. Mount Fuji is really worth climbing. So if you have the chance to visit Mount Fuji, why not climb the Mount Fuji? There are 4 climbing routes, but mostly people will climb from Yoshida Gate. I also took the Yoshida Gate from Yamanashi Prefecture side. The book is really worth reading. The attraction is worth giving a try. Giving a try. The attraction is worth giving a try. Many lectures, seminars, workshops are not worth taking. Many seminars out there are not worth taking. Many of them are fraudulent. Just setting the price so high. Just setting the price so high. I used to learn everything by heart without understanding the theory. Especially when it comes to mathematics, I memorized the equations by force, and I was calculating the numbers with the equations. First of all, I learned everything by heart. Do you like to learn something by heart? Are you good at learning something by heart? Are you good at learning something by heart? Learn something by heart. Are you good at learning the lyrics of your favorite songs by heart? Maybe we are good at learning the lyrics of our favorite songs by heart. But when it comes to something we don't like to do, we are not interested in, it's super difficult to learn something by heart. When it comes to the lyrics of our favorite songs, it's easy to learn the lyrics by heart. But when it comes to the things we are not interested in, it's super difficult for us to learn them by heart. Learn A by heart. Learn something by heart. I used to learn the formula by heart without understanding, without comprehending, without apprehending the theory, without getting the theory. I used to learn the formula by heart. I used to learn many formulas by heart. Formula is a confusing word for me. It can be the Formula 1, and it can be also mathematic formula. Formula. I would often learn the formulas by heart. I would often learn the formulas by heart. I used to learn the formula by heart. I used to learn the formula by heart by force. I used to learn the formula by heart. I used to learn the formulas by heart. I used to learn 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 many formulas by heart. I used to learn formulas by heart. I used to learn formulas by heart. I used to learn formulas by heart without understanding. I used to learn formulas by heart. I used to learn everything by heart without understanding the theory, just in order to pass examination, which was very bad. In order to calculate the volume, please multiply the length by width by the length, by the depth. If you multiply 5 by 5, what will you get? 25. If you multiply 5 by 5, what will you get? 25. If you multiply 10 by 10, what will you get? 100. I don't like adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. If you multiply 10 by 10, what will you get? 100. If you multiply 10 by 10, what will you get? 100. If you multiply the number by 10, what will you get? If you multiply 10 by 5, what will you get? 50. If you multiply 5 by 5, what will you get? 25. If you multiply 5 by 10, what will you get? 50. If there had not been many cracks on the surface of the object, it had been sold for better prices. If it had not been for cracks on the surface of the product, it would have been sold for better prices. Had it not been for many cracks on the surface of the product, it would have been sold for better prices. It would have been sold for better prices. If it had not been for cracks on the surface of the product, it could have been sold for better prices. It could have been sold for better prices. If it were not for water, we could not live. Had it not been for the cracks on the surface of the product, it would have been sold for better price. It would have been sold for better prices. It would have been sold for better prices. I was astonished by the tremendous number of barrels stored in the basement. Whiskey barrel. I was stunned by the number of whiskey barrels stored in the basement. What is the definition of geometry? Are you interested in geometry? Geometry is one of the categories of mathematics I don't like. I am not good at solving geometry questions. I am not good at imagining geometry shapes. I am not good at solving geometry questions. I am not good at resolving geometry questions. Geometry questions. Geometry. Hardly had I watched the first chapter of the movie when I got bored. I had hardly watched the first chapter of the movie when I got bored, and stopped watching. Hardly had I watched the first chapter of the movie when I stopped watching. It was boring. I had hardly watched the first chapter of the movie when I stopped watching. Hardly had I watched the 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 first chapter of the movie when I stopped watching. Chapter. No sooner had I watched the first chapter of the movie than I stopped watching. I had no sooner watched the first chapter of the movie than I stopped watching. Scarcely had I watched the first movie before I stopped watching. It's super difficult to focus myself on the lecture after lunchtime, after eating lunch, you know. It's super difficult. It can be super difficult to focus myself, concentrate myself on the lecture after eating lunch. Can you understand the concept of our life? What is 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 the concept of our life? Concept of the equation. Concept of the universe. Concept of the universe. Concept of the martial art. Geometry, geology, both sound similar for me, so which is confusing me. Geometry, geology, geothermal power generation, wind power generation, solar power generation, thermal power generation, tidal power generation, wind power generation. Renewable energy should be developed more in order to be environmental friendly, because the fossil fuels are limited. There is no forever amount of fossil fuels. She is not so much a teacher as a nurse. She is not so much a teacher as a nurse. She is not so much a teacher as a nurse. I am more interested in English than in mathematics. I am more interested in English class than mathematics class. I was more interested in physical education than homeroom activity. Academic excellence. I was so envious those with both academic and physical excellence. I envied those with both physical and academic excellence at school. I envied those with both academic and physical excellence. Academic deity. The shrine is dedicated to the deity for academic and arts. You can see many students praying for their success in entrance examinations in winter in the shrine dedicated to the deity for arts and academic. We should learn more practical vocabularies which are more frequently used in the society, not memorizing difficult words which are less used in the society. We should learn practical vocabularies by heart. We should learn practical vocabularies. I wanted to learn practical skills and knowledge at schools, not theories, academic things. I wanted to be educated with practical skills, such as how to take a train, reserve a hotel, take a flight ticket, and so on. I wanted to get practical skills. I wanted to obtain practical skills at school, such as how to take trains, how to reserve a hotel, how to get a passport, how to take a bus, flight, and so on. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!